There is an amazing account in the three synoptic Gospels, that's Matthew, Mark and Luke, about a woman who had suffered from severe bleeding for 12 years. The condition itself was enough to manage, but there was also the issue of the law. Her bleeding made her ceremonially unclean, meaning that whatever she touched also became unclean. That included people. Anyone around her had to be so very careful. In fact, there's no doubt that most people would simply have avoided her. She was undoubtedly very much alone. She couldn't go out even into a public place. She couldn't even be hugged by her family or her friends. Now, she'd been like that for 12 years. The scripture records this incident in a matter-of-fact sort of a way. We find this story sandwiched in the middle of another event. We could call it a day in the life of Jesus. The account of Jairus begins just as this lady is pressing in on Jesus, and it concludes immediately after this miracle. Her moment is there though, right in the middle, and she is not at all overlooked. Jesus had just stepped out of the boat where a large crowd was waiting for him. And as Jesus walked, there were people everywhere, with of course no security to keep people back, other than of course the disciples. And there, right in the middle of this large crowd, was this anonymous, unassuming lady. Now we know that she had tried everything possible. She had tried everything to find healing, or at least a treatment for her condition. She had spent all that she had on doctor after doctor after doctor, but all of their advice together was of little value. She had also tried all the suggestions that people had come up with, all to no avail. Her condition went on unchanged, and she struggled along in her weakness and in her loneliness. She had exhausted every possible avenue. Now it's easy to see that this condition consumed all of her energy and all of her passion for living. Then she heard about Jesus. She discovered that he was nearby, and so she rushed out to see him, along with everyone else. Mark chapter 5 puts it like this. She had heard about Jesus, so she came up behind him through the crowd and touched his robe, just the hem of his garment. For she thought to herself, if I can just touch his robe, I will be healed. Immediately the bleeding stopped, and she could feel that her body had been healed of this terrible condition. At the very same time, Jesus also realized that healing power had gone out from him, and he turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched me?" Now the disciples looked at him and asked, "What do you mean, who touched you? The whole crowd is pressing in on you." But Jesus kept looking around for that person. It took a moment or two for that woman to actually process what she was thinking, what was happening, what was going on. But then she told Jesus what she had done. Jesus simply said, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace, your suffering is over." Now we may think that there's no way through some of the circumstances that we may face in life. We just have to put up with them. Learn to live with it. Many of us are consumed with the circumstances that we should really be bringing before the Lord. Do you have something that you need to hand over to him today? Press into Jesus like this woman in the crowd did. Remember, we're not lost in a crowd when we're with Jesus. He has the time for you. What are you waiting for? Have a wonderful week, and may God bless you richly.